Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is a 24 men's Olympic road race. 272 kilometers, about 170 miles in length, and a very, very tiny professional peloton here at the Olympics. We're talking 90 riders registered, but in my book, I'll call it about 70 riders because at least 20 riders don't race over at the professional peloton and don't have the experience to be riding with guys like Evenepoel, who just finished third at the Tour de France. Wout van Aert, one of my big classic specialists. I got him as fifth on my favorite list on the Butterfly Effect and Beyond the Coverage. And Matthew van der Poel, sixth on my favorite list. Those three are first page riders. Everybody else here is second page rider, but hey, I was a second page rider and sometimes a third page rider, and I won the Vuelta a España. So there's a quality field here, but there's only 70 of them. So what I told you yesterday and Beyond the Coverage is that teams have to work together. Denmark have to work together, Netherlands has to work together, and Belgium, certainly with Wout van Aert and Remco Evenepoel, they got to work together to keep this race together. Otherwise, it would be a snooze fest. You'd sit on, you'd wake up at 2 a.m. on the West Coast, the race would blow up, it'd be over, and we'd see guys chasing all over the place, and probably a handful of guys would finish, group of 5, group of 5, group of 10, maybe 1s and 2s, and that's about it. But to my liking, when I turn on the TV earlier in the morning, not 2 a.m., I did not get up at 2 a.m., but when I turned it on about 4:30, I saw, of course, exactly the kind of scenario that I wanted to see. A 5-rider break with a bunch of very small teams in there. But when we go back to the Peloton, we see there's 3 teams on the front. Denmark, Belgium, and lo and behold, it's the Netherlands on the front, just like I told you the last 2 days of the Butterfly Effect. Well, these 3 teams are working together. The gap's going up to about 13 minutes. I'm watching it on Peacock, which has got a ton of commercials. I don't know why I'm paying for a subscription that has so many commercials, but I got to sit through them and I got to listen to Bob Roll talk about how the gap is getting so far up there that they might not be able to bring these guys back. I'm like, Bob Roll, are you a knucklehead? These are 5 guys I've never heard of. You can give them another 10 minutes and you'd still bring them back. And probably after you bring them back, most of these guys won't finish today's Olympic road race. So there's no reason to worry. Well, we see it about 190 kilometers ago. The real action of the race starts taking effect right now as we see it's Viviani, the Italian rider, up there attacking. And we got the Ireland rider up there, that's Ryan Moulin. Ryan Moulin and Viviani are most of the horsepower here trying to close this 11-12 minute gap up here to the group of 5 up front. And they got 2 riders for company there, but they're all big boys. Now, once we get into about 90 kilometers to go, things start getting a little more action-packed as we see Viviani and we see Ryan Moulin catching the front group there. Now we got about 7, 8 riders in this front group, and we start seeing attacks from the back. It's Ben Healey. He rides for Ireland. His teammate Ryan Moulin's at the front, and it's Alexei Lusenko attacking with him. These 2 riders are going up the road. Bob Roll's like, I don't know for sure if we're going to see Ben Healey work here with Alexei Lusenko. Of course you are. Bob, are you a knucklehead? Well, you are because I already called you one, but now you're a double knucklehead. And if I got listed everything you said here on the Olympic road race, you'd be a quadruple and it'd go and go and go and go through the long list of my arm. The whole reason Ben Healey's working with Alexei Lusenko, this was the plan. Have Ryan Moulin up the road, try to get Ben Healey up to Ryan Moulin, then have Ryan Moulin throw down some power. Well, Ryan Moulin, Viviani, who got upset with the breakaway guys there. No reason to get upset if you're an Italian rider, Viviani, because these guys don't have any power left. They've been in the break all day long. They started getting dropped after 180 kilometers worth of work up there. And now we got the 2 riders that are the favorites up there doing some work. That's Italy and that's Ireland. Then we see Viviani start to get a cramp. As he's getting a cramp, Ryan Moulin's going to sit up and wait because Ben Healey's coming. This was their plan. Get someone up there like Ryan Moulin. They only have 2 riders here for Ireland. So this was the plan. Ryan Moulin waits for Ben Healey. He starts pulling Ben Healey as hard as he can. And Alexei Lusenko's jumping in. So we got 3 riders in the front. Everybody else is blown up. The Peloton back there's chasing, but they're at about 40 seconds. 15 seconds it starts coming down to as we start getting into the final 2 laps here once we're back into Paris. We're coming under 75 kilometers to go. Now we start seeing Belgium go to work. It's Remco Evenepoel throwing in attacks, and Bob Roll loves this tactic. I don't like the tactic. There's no reason right now for Remco Evenepoel to be throwing in attack because the race hasn't been hard enough. Belgium haven't even put Jasper Stuyvens on the front right now. They've been running Thies Benoot. Netherlands, of course, ran Dan Uhl for a lot of time, and Denmark ran Mikkel Bjerg a lot of time on the front. But in general, if you did this whole part all the way up to about 72 kilometers to go, and you see Remco Evenepoel throwing an attack, Most of the moves have been soft attacks with the exception of Ben Healey, but nobody was really interested in going with Ben Healey when he was attacking at 90 kilometers ago. Now, of course, Ryan Moulin's at the front. He's getting ready to blow, but he's throwing in the last big effort for Ben Healey as Remco Evenepoel's throwing in his attack. It gets covered right away. The Belgian rider doesn't have any gap. He throws in a second attack. Once he does, again, it's covered right away, and so he sits up. Once he sits up, we start going into 60 kilometers to go, and it's Niels Palet that throws in attack. Niels got some company. I'll call it 7 riders right now. Michael Woods from Canada's up in there. He's got some action. We see Fred Wright from GB. We got Valentin Madouas from French team up there. Stefan Kuhn's there. Marco Haller's in there. And Mongolia has some berry up there. Mongolia, whoa, this was the big surprise. If I was talking about riders getting dropped out of the top 20, the top 20 riders that I thought would get dropped out of the Olympic road race, this is who I'm thinking is Mongolia, but Mongolia is calling me a knucklehead right now because he's putting in a fine show right now with this group of 7 up front chasing the 2 guys in front of them. That's at about, well, we'll call it about 15, 20 seconds. Now the gap starts going out to about 1:10, and we're going into about 52 kilometers to go. Mads Pedersen, he rides normally for Lidl Trek, but here he rides for Denmark, and they've been riding on the front throughout this whole part of the men's Olympic road race, but Mads Pedersen has a front flat. We see him pull over to the right side of the road. He gets a mechanical run out there, change the front wheel from the mechanic, and a good push. Mads is chasing. Problem is, we have 13 bergs here on the men's Olympic road race, and 3 of them are the same one on this 2-lap circuit. They're going to enter the circuit, and they start going up Mont Montreuil. It's about 1.1 kilometer, and with sections of 7.5% cobbles, narrow streets, technical lefts and rights. But this climb's a nasty one, and Mads Pedersen, last time the cameras had him, he was chasing back there, trying to get to the back of the peloton, but safely in the caravan, but not at the front of the peloton. Now we come into the climb proper. We got up front, we see Ben Healey is getting ready to go soloist. Alexei Lusenko's getting dropped. The 6 or 7 riders left now are chasing Ben Healey, and then Mathieu van der Poel throws in his attack. When he throws in the attack, it's Wout van Aert, Team Belgium. He's following right away. We got 2 riders getting a gap, and then look at the American rider back there, Jorgensen, closing up the gap. Well, he closes up. We got 5 guys up there with Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert coming together, and then we see Mathieu van der Poel and Wout both ease up on the pedals, but Mads Pedersen's closing the gap. Mads Pedersen, where'd you come from? Like I said, he flatted at 51, 52 kilometers to go. He must have been chasing the whole time up the climb. You know the rider from Denmark's got some form as he closes everything back up to bring kind of sort of the peloton back together with still 7 riders up there and still Ben Healey going solo. Now things start getting interesting because all of a sudden we're coming into 38 kilometers to go. It's Remco Evenepoel throwing in attack, but let's back the film up just a hair to see how it happened. Wout van Aert was on the front. Mathieu van der Poel was near the front. Mads Pedersen was near the front. Wout looked back over his shoulder, saw Remco Evenepoel back there, I can only imagine. And as he looked forward, Remco Evenepoel threw in attack off of Team Slovenia's wheels. He followed him going up the front. I'll call that Jan Tratnik. And Remco Evenepoel's throwing in attack. Now I'm sitting on the Chesterfield. We got 38 kilometers to go. Remco Evenepoel, this is probably about his 3rd attack that we've caught on video. Remember, there's commercials happening all over the place on Peacock, so I can't guarantee anything here. But I can guarantee you Remco Evenepoel's going solo right now because nobody's following the Belgium kit. He bridges the gap of about 15 seconds up to that group. We'll call it 6 riders right now. Ben Healey still solo at the front. As he catches in less than a K and a half time, he goes straight to the front and starts pulling like a madman. I'm sitting on the Chesterfield. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do? You got 6, 7 riders sitting on your wheel. You got Ben Healey up the front. How good are your legs, Remco Evenepoel? Well, we're going to find out pretty soon. If the Belgian kid has brought over his 24 Tour de France form where he finished 3rd and won a stage, the individual time trial stage 7 of the Tour de France, is he still got those legs? Well, you saw him win gold at the individual time trial. So you guys are all responding, of course he is. Chris, you're a knucklehead. Well, I don't know for sure because he's got a lot of guys sitting on his wheel, so I'm a little bit worried. But Remco Evenepoel's not. He's pulling on the front. Ben Healey still going solo. As we look at the back of the group there behind Remco Evenepoel train, all of a sudden they started rotating through with him. I'm like, you're going to pull with Remco Evenepoel at the Olympic Games? Are you guys knuckleheads? Well, they're rotating through. And then shortly after that, we start seeing riders get popped as Niels Palet's coming off the back. Then we see Fred Wright from Great Britain coming out the back, followed by the Canadian Michael Woods. He's coming out the back too, and we haven't even got back up to the climb. Now up front, we're going to see Ben Healey. He's still solo, but getting wrapped up with 33 kilometers kilometers to go. Remco Evenepoel's not waiting around at all. He goes straight to the front, keeps pulling. Most of the time, he had a couple little pulls back there from the guys, but not much. It's Remco Evenepoel putting on a show right here. We go into the next little bump of the climb, 1.1 kilometers, the second passage here of Montmartre. As they start the climb, Remco Evenepoel starts dropping out riders out the back as we see Stefan Kuhn and Marco Haller opening up the gap. Ben Healey somehow is holding on for dear life. Valentin Madouas, the French rider, he's putting on a show right now. What was happening back in the peloton? Well, it was Netherlands pulling on the front. That was Dylan van Barley coming into this climb, and they're about 45 seconds behind the train up front there of Remco Evenepoel as he's pulling with two riders sitting on his wheel. Now we start focusing on the peloton because it's time for Mathieu van der Poel to put in his second attack here at the Olympic Games. Once he throws in his first acceleration, we see Julian Alaphilippe's locked on the wheel. Mads Pedersen's there. Wout van Aert's there. With Mathieu van der Poel going fast into the left turn here, Mads Pedersen's coming around the right side there of Julian Alaphilippe. Julian Alaphilippe gives the man there from Denmark a little bump on the shoulder. The Frenchman says, no way, I got my teammate up front, Valentin Madouas. I got to protect this wheel. As he bumps the wheel there, as he bumps the shoulder there, of Mads Pedersen, he stays in second place. Now, Mathieu van der Poel still on the front. He's doing a fantastic job. He throws in his next acceleration on the same climb. The guy's got legs all over the place. With this acceleration, Julian Alaphilippe opens up the gap. Look there to the left side of the road, right of your picture. That's Wout van Aert. He has to close the gap. He comes around the Frenchman, Julian Alaphilippe, starts closing up, but Mathieu van der Poel still holding a little bit of a gap on Wout van Aert. Now, Wout van Aert stretches hard to find every inch of power he can, closes up the gap to Mathieu van der Poel. They'll go over the top. Then we see Wout van Aert look over. We see Mathieu van der Poel taking a sip out of his water bottle, coming through that right turn. Who comes flying up the left side with the island right there? That's Christophe Laporte and American Jorgensen throwing in attack. They'll start going up as we see the peloton there start to back off. We got two riders chasing 4-5 up there with Stefan Kuhn, Marco Haller up in the picture, somewhere behind the picture there of Remco Evenepoel, and now it's Madouas as they drop Ben Healey. Ben Healey's came off the back. There's two riders at the front. There's groups all over the place. We start looking at the peloton as they start losing time. We'll see Wout van Aert. He's in a group of 10, but he's got group of 14, but he's got Mads Pedersen and Mathieu van der Poel with him. That's the fourth group. With camera finds this third group up there. We see it's Stuyvens from Belgium. He's with about a group of 10. Now we start going up further. It's Christophe Laporte. He's bridging up there, the Stefan Kuhn's group. And when we start looking up to the front group, well, it's time for Remco Evenepoel to start going solo because we're heading about 15 kilometers to go, and we haven't even hit the last patches here of Montmartre. But with this little bump of a climb here, it's time for Valentin Madouas' day here at the Olympic Road Race trying to win gold to come to an end because Remco Evenepoel's throwing in the accelerator. He looks over his shoulder. Valentin Madouas opening up the gap. Remco Evenepoel knows it. Throws on power onto the pedal, goes over this bump, makes the left turn, starts going into TT mode. Now he's still got one obstacle left because we're coming under 10 kilometers to go. Montmartre is starting again. It's the cobblestone climb, feed zone. Fans going furious all over the place here at the 24 Olympics in Paris. As we see the Belgian rider there from Pseudo Quickstep, his normal trade team. Now he's going solo, going in TT mode up this climb, not losing any time. Valentin Madouas holding on for dear life to try to get a silver medal here. Behind him, what's happening? It's Jorgensen, the American rider, Christophe Laporte. They're distancing their companions as they're going 1-2 here, third and fourth position. And then the group behind them is split up. It's blown all over the place at the 24 Men's Olympic. Remco Evenepoel goes over the top of the climb. He's flying down the descent. Now you think as you're sitting on the Chesterfield, he's got this one for sure, right? Well, it's not over yet. As we see the motorcycle come up on the right side there of Remco Evenepoel, it starts to narrow up. The Belgian rider looks right at the camera. He's like, what are you doing? Give me some space. I'm trying to win a second gold here in a 1 week time at the 24 season. Now we're coming up to just under 4 kilometers to go. They're coming up to the Louvre. You see the arch right there? Well, Remco Evenepoel sees it too, but his left hand goes up in the air. Red lights are flashing all over for the Belgian rider. He goes under the arches, pulls over to the left side of the road. We're not in England. This isn't the 2012 Olympics. You're supposed to pull over to the right. Belgian kid pulls over to the left. He's tapping his saddle. He's frustrated. It's crazy right now. He's going to lose a gold medal if his mechanic's car isn't close. The Belgian rider's losing it, cops out in the middle of the road. His arms are flaring everywhere. Where's my bike? Where's my bike? The Belgian team car's Finn van Hooydunk's got to be driving it, comes flying up. The mechanic comes running out with his bike. throws it to the Belgian rider on the right side of the road. His bike's over to the left. You see Sven van Hooydonk, the DS, run over to grab his bike on the left. The mechanic's giving a push to Remco Evenepoel. Now Remco Evenepoel's losing it to the camera motorcycle, tapping his right wrist here, left and right, trying to figure out how much time that he's got. Remember, there's no race radios. The Belgian kid doesn't know. He had 1 minute and 15 seconds on Valentin Madois back there from France. As the camera must have told him something, he gets into TT mode, starts accelerating. Then he goes about another 2K. Starts to realize right now, well, you don't have to stress anymore. Gives a big old smile there to the cameras. He's coming under 2 kilometers to go. We look back, it's Valentin Madois, but he's only got about a 15-second gap on 5-6 riders chasing him, with Christophe Laporte, his French teammate, in there. Jorgensen, the American riders, in there. They're attacking left and right, but Laporte is covering the attacks left and right because he knows they got a silver medal if Valentin Madois can stay up. Now we go under 1K to go. Remco Evenepoel's flying under the 1K better. 500 meters to go. He knows he's winning a second gold here at 1 week time in Paris. As he crosses the river here, going across the bridge, he comes up to the Eiffel Tower, steps off his bike, steps in front of it, arms go wide, head goes back, celebrates a second gold medal here at the 24 men's Olympic road race, then gets back on his bike and starts celebrating. What's happening in the back? Valentin Madois is holding on to just a few seconds. The group of 4 riders back there being led by Jorgensen and Christophe Laporte covering attacks left and right with Ben Healey. Ben Healey's still in this move, but they're getting wrapped up from another group of about 5-6 riders as Julien Alaphilippe, the third Frenchman right now, is locking up to this third group there, but they can't bring back the second place rider up front, Valentin Madois. He'll turn with 200 meters to go across the river, the Eiffel Tower. You see the group behind hot on his heels, but Valentin Madois is going to get a silver medal here at the 24 Olympics, and Christophe Laporte starts to sprint early, but holds off everybody to round out the podium for France, getting silver and bronze medal at the 24 Olympics. This was a fantastic, extraordinary day of racing. I told you guys yesterday I didn't want to see chaos. If you want good racing, you got to bring the race deep into the race so we can watch the best riders in the world. We got to see one of the best. There's no doubt about that. Remco Evenepoel put on a show for everybody that's sitting on the Chesterfield today for the men's Olympic road race to take home a second gold medal and do it in fine style. And guys, when he got off his bike, he answered the telephone call, then slammed it down to let everybody know that every win that he's had throughout his career, this is not just a one-off accident. The Belgium kid is certainly first page rider. There's no doubt about it. Third at the Tour de France, stage win at the Tour de France, Vuelta a España winner, individual gold winner here in 24, road race gold winner. So we're talking about the individual time trial and the men's road race. In case I confused you, that's 2 gold medals in 1 week time, like I've already told you. The Belgium kid is the real deal. That's why he's first page rider on Beyond the Coverage, and the butterfly effect. Congratulations, Remco Evenepoel. Now, I want to break down the tactics just a little bit, because I told you guys at 72 kilometers ago when he was attacking, and the second attack that came after that just a couple kilometers later, I didn't like that move. Why didn't I like that move? Okay, well, let's go a little bit further. Let's take you into 51 kilometers ago when Mads Pedersen from Denmark flatted. What happened there? What could have changed the race for Remco Evenepoel? Well, the first time at the passage, when they had to do Montmartre 3 times, it was Mathieu van der Poel throwing an attack. Wout van Aert was all over it. The American Jorgensen was all over it. Julien Alaphilippe looked good too at that moment. And then it was Mads Pedersen that closed that gap. But if Mads hadn't flatted, Remco Evenepoel, if Mads hadn't flatted just before that climb and closed that gap, Mads might have been in that gap. That gap goes up the road, and then Remco Evenepoel has to play team tactics back there, right? You got all the favorites going up the road with massive power. You know Wout van Aert's going to work with Mathieu van der Poel. You know Mads Pedersen's going to work with Mathieu van der Poel. We saw that again, didn't we? Yes, we did. So you know that group probably would have stayed off, and who would have brought it back if Mads Pedersen wasn't back there chasing? That means Remco Evenepoel, when you're throwing in attacks and you still have Jasper Stuyvens, they only have riders of 4 here. Thies Benoot, marvelous job. You were fantastic. Jasper Stuyvens was the rider for Belgium. If I'm Remco Evenepoel, I want to have Jasper Stuyvens just blow it up as hard as you can, or I want to wait for the first passes when Mathieu van der Poel is surely going to put in his tack. Have Remco Evenepoel go with that tack, along with Wout van Aert and Mads Pedersen if he doesn't flats there. And guess what? Remco Evenepoel, you're in that front group, and you have 2 Belgian riders to attack Mathieu van der Poel. I know you want gold. I know, right? You can't be a knucklehead if you want, and you're not a knucklehead today. I'm not saying that. But the tack at 72 and the tack right after that really was helped because Mads Pedersen had flatted and missed the tack there, Matthew Van Der Poel, the first time up the climb. Otherwise, that move might have been gone, and Remco Evenepoel wouldn't be a two-time gold winner here in 2024. But he is. I know that's the way the crooked combos, because the kid has power in his legs that just never ends. He's the Energizer Bunny. Hope you guys enjoyed my take. I enjoyed every second of the men's Olympic road race today, especially once Remco Evenepoel was putting on a show. Fantastic race. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next edition real soon.